Hi friends, welcome back. So headlines, I was scammed out of nearly $300,000 and was forced to abandon my retirement dreams. This is an article coming out of the Business Insider today. I want to go over it with you because essentially I think this happens to a lot of people and there's a lot we can learn from these kind of incidents. Better learn from someone else's mistake than make them yourself. You don't have to learn the hard way in something like this. And again, someone was scammed out of $300K. Let's see what happened here. This is an essay, and essentially it was an interview with someone named Leonid, and they shared their experience. It says, last year, I started looking for ways to make more money from my retirement savings. I'm 70, and my wife, who is also retired, is 68. We were worried about having enough money to live with rising inflation. And I think a lot of people are in this situation. You have a certain set of money aside, and even if you have Social Security, it only goes up by a certain amount, but it may not necessarily keep up with the expenses of the area that you live in, right? Inflation. Also says here, we also wanted to have something to leave our 4 grandchildren, 2 of whom have special needs. And I actually, this whole situation is very similar to a situation in my family, which I'll talk about towards the end of this, but I can relate with these people. Also says here, I researched investment options, right, online, and eventually I reached out to a friend. This kind of stuff here is part of the YouTube game as well. There's a lot of scammers out there on YouTube, and essentially that's how it works, right? You search for, hey, how do I can make more money, etc. And there's a lot of people out there willing to cheat you. That's an unfortunate truth. That's why I want to go through this thing to see how this stuff works. But ultimately, this guy reached out to someone close to him. He said he connected me to a company he was investing in. Right, talking about investment opportunity here. I checked the company out online, and everything seemed above board. I spoke with a professional financial planner tied to the company, right? So this particular person, right, a planner tied to the company, I don't think that's going to be an independent body. Still, I was cautious. I opened an account with just $250, right? So small money. Then I transferred $10,000, a little bit bigger. With that investment began to grow, right? Starting to see making money on this thing. I wanted to go all in. And this is the problems that you get. And I'm illustrating this because it's not just this particular situation. It can happen in stocks as well. You make a little bit of money and then, oh my God, it's going up. I'm going to go all in. I withdrew $100 from the account to make sure it was legit, right? So I took a little bit of money out. After that withdrawal was processed, I transferred all my money, $256,470, right? So basically went all in. And then this is the next part. Things quickly became strange. After that, things started to get strange. The so-called investment company asked me to take out a line of credit. They encouraged me to invest in Bitcoin and started charging me steep commissions. And essentially, they've got all your money now, and now they even want you to borrow money to put more in this thing and go into more riskier things, right? Do you guys see how this stuff can escalate? And this is a real person, and this is the kind of stuff that I have to warn you about all the time, and it's good for you to hear these stories. Be careful out there. Oftentimes, things sound really good. They're good at first, but things can turn off often very quickly. And then the other thing is, too, people many times when they're down on money, they're ashamed and embarrassed to talk to friends or close family about it. Because guys, you know how it is, right? If you get cheated, it's not really something you want to broadcast to the world. You feel shame or said thing, and you try to dig yourself out of the hole by unfortunately digging an even bigger hole, right? Not talking about line of credit here. This also says here, one day I got an email reportedly from a blockchain, the digital wallet where people keep Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And again, this is someone who's old, right? The wife is 68, they are 70. When I looked closely, I noticed that one digit in the email was off. Interesting. It was a scam meant to look like an official blockchain communication. That's when I knew something was very wrong. I trusted the big bank that scammers used, okay? So, this person, in their point of view, they felt like they did all the research and they felt like they were safe. Let's keep reading here. It says, still, the so-called investment company called me asking for more money. I got my own lawyer who looked up the company's legal representation. He couldn't find any licensed lawyer with the name I'd given. Next, I hired a private investigator, right? So even, took more action to figure out who these people are. He tracked one scammer to Bulgaria and another to the USA. So now we don't even know where these people are located. Maybe Bulgaria, maybe USA, right? And they say maybe because who knows? And there could be more than one person involved with this stuff. My lawyer realized I had sent most of my funds to an account at Bank of America, right? So, okay, it seems reasonable. Bank of America is a legitimate bank, right? Maybe they'll protect you. This person says, as an immigrant, I trusted Bank of America intrinsically. And actually, Warren Buffett also is a big investor in Bank of America, right? So you think, okay, it's a legitimate business. They're not going to cheat me. I never would have transferred money to a small bank or international establishment. But if you can't trust them, who can you trust? So now he's saying, kind of blaming Bank of America in a way. Unfortunately, I feel Bank of America failed me terribly. Even after my lawyer alerted them to what was happening, they cleared a check I'd written to the scammers. They ignored requests from my bank to look at the fraud, and after 3 requests, my bank gave up. Within 3 months, I went from having a healthy retirement savings to having $20,000 in the bank. With lawyer fees and private investigator, I was out nearly $300,000. So this is sort of how that number ballooned quickly. From what I can tell, though, I don't think the person did the line of credit. So this person got, well, I won't say lucky, but it could have been much, much worse. But obviously, it's not good. This is all this person's money, so not good. Let's just keep reading more. Older people like myself need to protect themselves. This whole debacle is no one's fault but my own. So at least they are taking some responsibility for it. But again, be careful out there. The thing is, I'm a smart guy. I ran a major business for 30 years. I am good at vetting people, or at least I thought. And this happens. Sometimes you get blinded by greed, or you trust the wrong people, right? You go all in. And these are some of the things that you want to do to protect yourself. Sometimes our emotions, take over. Like you think you're doing the right thing, and maybe his heart's in the right place, but I talk about this all the time on this channel, guys, right? You got to really protect yourself out there. This is sort of why you diversify. Yes, sometimes it could work out for you, but no one can predict the future 100%. And that's sort of why sometimes, hey, it's great that you got a winner in whatever stock you're in or whatever, crypto or whatever, but when you start thinking, I can't lose, right? When you start thinking like that, this is when you set yourself up for some serious catastrophes. So let's read some more here. Person says, what frustrates me is the lack of government oversight allows scams like this to thrive. This is a real problem. And I mean, it is true that he wishes Bank of America protect him, wishes the government protect him, etc. But you just can't always depend on someone else to protect you. You've got to protect yourself first. I will state that really clearly. Also, too, and I mentioned this so many times on the channel, there's so many scammers out there on YouTube. They're everywhere. Frankly, it's the majority of YouTube, which is a shame. And many people think, oh, nothing's gonna bad happen to me, etc. But it only takes really one scammer to take everything. So this is sort of always keep your guard up. Please be careful out there. Also says here, I contacted my local police department. Well, this person, obviously tried everything here. And they said they investigate. I didn't hear from them, so I called back. They told me they have 600 cases like this and only 3 investigators, right? They just don't have the people power. And that would be the same with the government as well. They don't have the people power to go after all of the scams all the time. There's just too many. Seriously. And it's the same I mentioned YouTube, it's the same on YouTube. The scams I can make scam video every single day. I could probably make 3 every single day. It's just too many, but this is sort of why it's better just to focus on just education so you can protect yourself, right? I can't make a video on every single scammer out there. It's more better to make a video just, hey guys, be careful out there, and you protect yourself. Also says here, when I heard that, I knew my chance of my case being solved were slim to none. People always ask me what advice I'd give other seniors, but I think that's the wrong question. Scammers will always exist. The same thing I'm saying, this person's saying the same thing. And people, especially older people, will always be vulnerable, right? It's not just older people, though. I'd say anyone who is overly trusting, anyone who's desperate, even because here we said old people. I mean, I'd say young people too, especially in this day and age. There's so many TikTok accounts or Tesla stock pumpers out there that basically try to goad young people by spreading, unfortunately, this frankly lies. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. For example, I'll just give you an example. Say, what do you mean by lies? Like some people say, oh guys, I win 100% of my portfolio on Tesla stock and I'm so rich. And you have no idea if said person really is 100% in said thing. You have no idea if said person is really, quote, rich, whatever that means. You just don't know. And a lot of it is just for show. A lot of these people are also paid by Tesla and on Twitter, not making random stuff up. The money gets funneled through Twitter and Elon Musk. So anytime Musk here, anytime he tweets or retweets someone gets money on that. Anytime someone sends views over to their channel, they get money for that, etc. Whether or not there's actual payments, who knows? These kind of channels are set up for that sort of stuff. So I'll just say this, that there's shady things going on. Do be careful out there. Moreover, and I know I talk about Tesla on a lot of the channel, but that's one of the more egregious ones because it's everywhere. But the point I'm trying to say is you got to protect yourself. This person also says here, we need to be able to trust the government and major institutions like Bank of America to stop this fraud. I mean, I agree we should stop fraud, but again, there's just too much of it. Remember the guy said, was it the police, 600 cases, 3 investigators? You can't go after everyone. I believe they don't because they make money in interest and fees from these fraudulent accounts. And that's debatable, maybe. I won't disagree. I'll just say I don't have the numbers in front of me, but and you can make the case YouTube makes money from frauds and scams. You can make that case. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. I'll just say, how much Bank of America makes from frauds. I'll leave that up to you to decide. But yeah. Moreover, it says here, my retirement looks a lot different now. I started from scratch in my life. I immigrated from the Czech Republic to New York in 1989. And later moved from New York to Texas, but it's hard to start over at 70, so they lost everything. I've been sending out my resume, looking for work now, as a consultant, but I haven't had any leads. I'm lucky to have a house and cars that are paid off, so they don't necessarily they keep their expenses low, but they lost all their cash, that's what it sounds like, and still have some money in the bank. I think he said 20,000. I've abandoned my dream of helping my grandkids or traveling in retirement. I'm just hoping my wife and I have enough to live on. And this is the note that they have here. It says, in a statement to Business Insider, Bank of America said, we don't want any bank's clients to become victims of scams. We try to work with victims and their banks to return funds when feasible, but unfortunately, this is not always possible. We encourage clients to do thorough due diligence to ensure that they are transferring funds to legitimate businesses. And this is an example. I was just thinking about this. One of my banks, because I pay cash for cars, when I was in USA, I wanted to do a rather large wire transfer, and I actually got a call from my bank, and they I think they do this for any kind of transfers, and they call you and say, hey, were you contacted over the internet? Have you met said person? Have you seen the actual car? Like they ask a bunch of questions to try to protect you. So I don't know if every bank does that. I'll just say my bank, and I'm not endorsing a particular bank here, but because I think multiple banks do that. I'll give you another example, and this is just recently. I saw a charge that I didn't know what it was, and my bank just a couple of days ago, and literally just sent a message to the bank, and they issue you a new card like right away. So don't think that banks don't try to protect you. In this situation, I guess the deal is you already sent the money off. It's gone, but it sounds like according to him, he tried to cancel the said check. So I can't comment on the whole Bank of America situation. So I don't know, but I'll just say not every bank's out there to cheat you. I've had, I don't know, maybe 5 occasions in my life where there's some weird fraudulent charges, and I just call the bank and they take care of that. That's one of the advantages of credit card companies. That they're pretty good with that kind of stuff as well. So this is this sort of situation where you'll know the relationship with your financial institution. But when you talk about like this kind of thing, again, your best sort of thing is to protect yourself. I will say, like for example, in the news, this is just in the market. Boeing is now pleading guilty on something, but it was a plea deal. And from my understanding, I read through it. It sounds like they have to pay some fines, and then it seems like the executives are getting off. I won't say scot-free, but they're facing lesser penalty. That's what it looks like to me. So they're going after the company, but not sorry, the individual execs. And then this is today, but then also today. So you have the plea deal for guilty from Boeing, and then today, United Airlines jet loses wheel and repeat of March incident. So why am I mentioning this whole Boeing thing is I'll just say shady stuff goes on at all levels, and unfortunately, even at the highest levels, and Boeing is unfortunately the highest level, and you got to be careful out there, and you got to protect yourself. That's a way to say it. And I know it's frustrating in the world where if you don't feel like justice is being served. So in my situation, I'm not a big fan of Boeing. I've said that several times in the channel, and I think you should just throw the book at them. That's my opinion on this, but I do understand a lot of implications with that, right? You have people's jobs on the line. You also do you really want to go after an American company if you're trying to prop up American companies, etc. It's a complicated discussion, but I want to mostly focus on this part here where your best sort of protection against this kind of stuff is don't go all in on these things. Don't take unnecessary risks like this stuff. And this person even tried to get out of it. But I think they acted too quickly. That's sort of what it is. And sometimes, like for these kind of things, they make it feel like, oh, you got to put all your money in now, or you're going to miss your chance. There's always another chance in life. And I think what really gets people with these kind of things is they think this is my only chance to, make a whole bunch of money really, really quickly. That right there, that kind of thinking is what gets you in trouble. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on these kind of things. Have you heard this stuff happening to people that you know, or has it happened to you? And what advice do you have for other people? I think it's important to point this stuff out. And again, I can't cover all the scammers all the time on YouTube, and just assume that most of them are. Unfortunately, anyone who's promised you that you're going to get rich in a short time, or get rich with little work, and they'll do all the work to send you, trade alerts or whatever, be very, very cautious of them. So that's my thoughts on this. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you all in the next video.